Tamera Mowry husband is being dragged all over social media because he dared to open up his white lips and say this about Black people on food stamps. Hey, cousins, happy Sunday or whenever you see this video. Welcome and shout out to all of my new cousins. I absolutely love you. I adore you. If you're new here, my name is Janice. Please be sure to subscribe, thumbs up, share this out, and shout out to everyone that's been hanging with me. So this article by Yahoo News Vibe, it says Tamera Moore's husband bashed for saying people work the system in response to SNAP reform. Be sure to check that video out I did last week that talked about the woman getting $4,000 in food stamps and was upset that her TikTok income was counted and that she also drives a BMW and she's getting Section 8 and think that her TikTok income should not be counted. So it reads, Tia Moore husband Adam shares his alleged experience with people who use food stamps in response to proposed changes to the SNAP program by President Donald Trump administration Tuesday, February 18. Housley detailed in a post on X his time working in his family-owned shop in his youth, where people would purchase crap food with government assistance. As a kid who grew up in a neighborhood grocery store since I was 5, I can't tell you how many times I saw people come in and buy crap food for their kids with food stamps, then open the wallet and use cash for liquor, beer, wine, and cigarettes, he reflected. Y'all acting like that's not true. Okay? Y'all acting like that's not true. That's true today. I don't know why people get so upset. And I was reading some of the comments talk about, no, they weren't doing food stamps. Listen, my daughter is 31 years old this year. Lexa was born in 1994. I was one of the first people to get the food stamps card, the card. People 30 years ago, used to get the books. People used to get the books. So 30 years ago, that sound about right. They used to get the books with the food stamps in it. I was one of the first when I was 16, had a baby, and I was getting food stamps and TANF. And I was one of the first people to get that card. But people before me, they were getting the books. So let's not act like this is not true. And let's not act like people don't buy crap food with their food stamps and then buy liquor, beer, wine, and cigarettes. That's why y'all acting like that's not true. Then there were those who would repeatedly buy a lemon or lime, get the change, walk out the door, throw them away, and do it again until they had enough change to buy cigarettes or alcohol. As a kid, it pissed me off because there are some people who could really use the help. And then there are these others working the system. Now, I don't know if at 5 years old you were making that calculation in your mind, unless your parents or family were talking about it for you to know that. Okay, so because I'm thinking, I nursed my little boy until he was 5 years old. So I don't think at 5 years old you're paying attention to that. You're probably paying attention to it only because your family were talking about it. And so it made sense to you, which is why we should not have adult conversation around children. Okay, let's read on. So here's his statement that he said as a kid growing up in the neighborhood grocery store since I was 5. Okay. Since I was 5. Okay. Because I'm thinking at 5 years old, you're not paying attention to that, especially 30 years ago. You're not paying attention to what grown people was doing. Okay, so he says, since I grew up in the neighborhood grocery store, since I was 5. Okay, I can't tell how many times people came in and buy a cup of food for their kids with food stamps on the Sunday. Then there was those, breaking Trump, right. So it says breaking Trump administration may ban the use of food stamps for purchasing junk food. I totally agree. I totally agree with it. I think you should use your food stamps to buy food for your kids. Again, I was on food stamps from the age of 16 until I graduated Rutgers. Lexi was about 8, I think, when I graduated. So, hello, food stamp recipient here. Used to be food stamp recipient. Many replies question his desire to police the purchase of others. However, Housley defended his reaction. After being labeled a silver spoon leech, there is nothing wrong with being a silver spoon. After being labeled a silver spoon leech with generation wealth handed to me, first of all, this right here, silver spoon leech, whoever said that is an absolute dum-dum. You are supposed to create generational wealth for your children. And y'all are mad because your family was broke and dusty and didn't leave no generational wealth with you. So now you feel as he's a leech. No, that's why you create generational wealth, to make a better life for your children. Okay, so he says, after being labeled a silver spoon leech with generational wealth handed to me, that's what you're supposed to do to your kids. Bitching and moaning, telling lies about moms on food stamps by a social media user, Housley responded, yeah, not talking about moms and food stamps. I clearly defended helping families in need and clearly saw those taking advantage. Why are y'all acting like it's not true? Funny, those taking advantage are the ones who hurt moms in need. Plus, we've been helping families in need since I was a kid. I don't know why y'all mad. It's true. It is true. Don't act like it's not true. It's true. He asserted in another post, it's people like this that make me dislike social media. They jump to conclusion and judge, completely missing the point. I had clearly said when I was a kid, I worked the register from age 7. Okay. On and worked every holiday, and yes, grew up in the back room of a family market. My parents didn't always have money, but they busted their asses, and so did we as kids, and made it into something. They've also given back to my community for damn near 50 years. You see, sometimes stating facts isn't judging. Get a life. Woo! And you know what I love about him? He hits back, honey. Okay? He hits back. I love it. Piccola said the system changed. You no longer get money back. And they paid cash for those items because they aren't covered under benefits. But I guess poor people should never have anything enjoyable. Food stamps is to buy food for your children, ma'am, or whoever you are. According to the Associated Press, Robert J. Kennedy Jr., the newly confirmed Health and Human Services Secretary, and Brooke DeRoss, the new Agriculture Secretary, have shown support for limited families who use SNAP benefits from purchasing certain items, includes sugary snacks. I totally agree. Hello, look at all the kids. They're all obese. Well, they're not all obese. Most of them. The one place that I would say that we need to really change policy is the SNAP program in food stamps and in school lunches. Kennedy explained on Fox News last week, per AP, the federal government in many cases is paying for it, and we shouldn't be subsidizing people to eat poison. This is true. My kids don't get lunch. We have to pay for lunch, and my son, he goes to private school. They cook meal, healthy, fresh food every day. Okay, they don't get the lunch delivered. They cook the food at Little Michael's schools. When a taxpayer is putting money into SNAP, are they okay with us using their tax dollars to feed really bad food and sugar drinks to children who perhaps need something more nutritious? Rollins shared, these are all massive questions we're going to be asking and working on in the coming months and years. And let me just say, unless you have a house, you do not pay into SNAP benefits, okay? Unless you have a house, unless you have unless you are paying house taxes, the taxes are interest. Taxes, you do not pay into public assistance. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. I work in social services, and sometimes you had to go to court with the clients. And so one of the clients said, I pay this my money, I pay for this. And that little judge, white lady with her beautiful red hair, she said, no, do you own a house? No, you don't. She said, unless you own a house and pay housing taxes, you do not pay into public assistance, food stamps, and cash. So please stop saying you're getting back your tax dollars, because unless you own a home where you are paying taxes, you do not pay into a public assistance benefits. Let's read some comments of what people are saying about Adam. And let me just say this before I might do another video on this. I think Black people hate him because he's a white man who married a Black woman who doesn't have her struggling. Okay, I'm gonna do a separate video on this. Okay, let's look at some of the comments people are saying. Okay, here's one comment that I thought about, but I'm glad somebody else say it. It said here, Lisa Evans, shout out to Lisa Evans on TikTok. She says he grew up in a white neighborhoods, Napa Valley. There's no Black people there at that time, so the people he's referring to is all whites. I thought about that because I'm like, I don't think there was poor Black people in Napa. Okay. I don't think there back then there was poor Black people in Napa. Did he say anything about color? No, LOL. Y'all are saying he's a racist, but he's right about food stamps and the people abusing it. He didn't say anything about color, hence my comment, but you can only assume he's talking about white people because that demographic and time era, no Blacks were there. And that's what I thought. When I'm like, there were no Black people in Napa. I'm sure poor people can't afford to live there. There are no poor people in Napa. You have to have money to live there. The savvy collector said, what is wrong with what this man said? I see nothing yet but a bunch of triggered folks for rhyme or reason. So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with what he said. Maya says, I hate this conversation. Who cares? This is like being upset by what a homeless person does with the money you give them. Kishana says, so he mad because people support his family store. I'm sorry, what 5-year-old is paying attention to what people with food stamps are buying this much? As a kid, I was concerned with the toys. That's what I said at 5, but he said he grew up in the store since he was 5. Okay. Kate Spades. Hey, Kate Spades. She says, this is on TikTok, food stamps really aren't even enough to buy organic food, especially when most people on food stamps trying to stretch their budget, and who knows what their kitchen situation is like. TikToker said, if food stamps were so bad to your family and y'all didn't like what people are doing with them, y'all should have stopped accepting them. And if your brother is still accepting them, you should tell him. That was stupid. To stop, upsetting them, and we will see how that sugar honey. No, you can't decline food to accept food stamps. Okay, you can't decline. Okay, all right. Let me know. That's it. I think but that one comment I wanted to, because I'm thinking poor Black people in Napa. And he didn't say anything about Black people, but Black people just got triggered because he said food stamps. Let me just say there are more white people on food stamps than Black people. Why? Black people only make up 13, 14%, less than 20% of the population. Okay. Black people make up less than 20% of the United States population. So yes, there are more white people on food stamps than are Black people, because Black people make up less than 20, about 14, 15% of the United States population. Okay. I love you, my cousins. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Share this out. Leave a comment. Thumbs up for me. I absolutely love you. I'll talk with you later. Bye.